So what should you do today? Should you buy and hold real estate as a real estate investor in today's market because of the opportunities that we're seeing? Or should you wait it out to avoid a possible market crash? We're going to answer that question tonight. So make sure you guys stick around to the end. Ask lots of questions. If you have them, drop them in the chat, drop them in the comment section. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment that says I subscribed, and I'll send you instant access to one of my free real estate trainings. And if you're interested in any of our programs, we have our real estate ride along tour where you can come out and spend the day with me in Philly touring properties Saturday, May 31st. So at the end of the month, just reach out about that. DM me ride along, drop a comment that says ride along. If you're interested in our 24/7 cash flow community, where we'll just teach you the game and all the best strategies for 2025, click the link in the description. Or if you're on IG, just DM me cash flow. And if you're interested in our boots on the ground program, which a lot of people are interested in, where we find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage properties for you, so the kind of more of that done for you service, just reach out and ask me boots on the ground. We only have a few spots available at any given time, maybe like 1 or 2 spots a month, because we like to keep the group small. So if you're interested in that, reach out. But you definitely want to have some liquidity to play with. If you're starting without cash or credit, we have a lot of stuff for you. Just click the links in the description to learn how to invest like that. So Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, guys, back with another action-packed one. What should you do? Should you buy now or should you wait it out? A lot of people are struggling with this question. Like, what do I do in today's market? You're watching the news. They're telling you should wait. The market's going to crash. Warren Buffett's getting out of real estate. Like, they're just telling you all this stuff. Or are you seeing opportunities? I'm seeing a lot of opportunities. I have reasons as to why they're telling us to not buy in the media, and we're going to get into it. So guys, drop your questions in the chat or the comment section. I will answer them as we flow through this, and let's get into this. So the first thing to think about in answering this question, and this is a bit of kind of like a market update. So this will get you connected to the market. If you've really been on the sidelines, you have no idea what's going on. First, you have interest rates. Where are interest rates projected to go? Well, they've been going down. They've been going down for about, I believe, about 7 weeks in a row for the most part. They're substantially lower than they were this time last year. And the projections are that rates are going to continue to fall because of recessionary pressure, pressure on the Fed to cut rates, what's happening globally. It appears that interest rates are going to fall. If interest rates are going to go down, this would be an opportunity to buy properties at today's rates and then just refinance them as they fall. So it's called marry the house, date the rate. Marry the house, date the rate. That's kind of the philosophy you want to have. Marry the house, date the rate. So if you can find a good rental property, then buy it. Don't worry about how it cash flows. I mean, you want to make sure it cash flows at today's interest rates, but don't worry about how much, because you can unlock it. You definitely want to get like somewhere between $300 to $500 a month minimum cash flow per property, or to me, it's not worth it. I wouldn't put all my eggs in that basket. I would just wait out for a better deal. But if you can get something that's cash flowing, like we're seeing deals in Philly right now, and I'll send you guys a link to my training. We have a training tomorrow night at 7 and Wednesday at 7, where I'm going to walk you through an actual deal that we're doing in today's market, so you guys can see the numbers and how these properties can cash flow, but they'll cash flow more. So interest rates would be a buy signal, in my opinion. Then you have supply and demand. So what are the general supply and demands of properties that are on the market at a given time? That will tell you if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. So when COVID hit, and it hit like a sack of potatoes, like a sack of bricks, really, it shocked supply. You ended up shutting down a lot of physical auctions. The real estate market, people stopped going out to look at properties. Everything slowed down. Lenders stopped lending. Like all of this negative stuff happened. And there were foreclosure moratoriums put in place as well. That slowed down the supply of properties hitting the market. And then interest rates doubled and less people were willing to sell their properties. So the supply of properties on the market was greatly reduced. When there's not enough supply on the market and the demand remains the same, prices go up because there's too much demand to meet the supply. So that has been a part of pushing up prices of real estate. You also have a lot of demand from hedge funds, which we'll talk about, and it's almost an insatiable demand. It increases by the day. And you just don't have enough supply. But we have almost double the supply today in today's market than we've had over the last 4 years, which is balancing this out. A 6 month market supply is balanced. We're at about 4.5 month market supply in most of the top 10 markets that we're interested in as investors. So that would tell us it's balancing out towards more of a fair market, still slightly seller's market, which means it's an okay market to flip in, but it's starting to balance out in terms of supply. So the supply demand metrics are showing us it's a good market because a balanced market is predictable, in my opinion. A balanced market is a predictable market. So I definitely want to kind of stay locked in there. Guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, share the content with someone who you want to get value. If you're interested in our any of our programs, just click the link in the description, tap into our 24/7 cash flow community. The next one is new construction slowdown. So the new construction slowdown, that's happening because of the tariffs, because of the trade wars. When these things happen, it's not only prices that change, but there are suppliers who get wiped out of business. So let's take it from that angle, and that's just one angle. So there's some supplier in China, and they're producing goods, and then the tariffs hit them, and it just puts them out of business. But they were part of the supply chain. Because they were part of the supply chain, somebody's going to get their lumber or their steel or their air conditioner or their washer dryer a lot slower. And it starts to push back deadlines. They say in real estate, if you miss 2 or 3 hours, you missed a day. Lose 2 or 3 hours, lose a day. Lose 2 days, lose a week. Lose 2 weeks, you lose the whole month because it keeps pushing back all of these different deadlines. So you have a new construction slowdown because of trade wars, material slowdowns, just different economy, supply chain shocks. And there's a slower delivery of multifamily affordable housing to the market, which is creating an opportunity for individual buy and hold investors. You, me. So that's kind of positive in a sense. Rental demand is increasing because things are getting more expensive. On the flip side of tariffs and inflation, everything's becoming more expensive. When interest rates doubled, for the reason that we described, Charleston, South Carolina is here. We got some people from South Carolina tapped in. Guys, if you have questions, drop them in the chat, drop them in the comment section. We'll keep answering this stuff. Some of this stuff I'm going to rattle off because I know it extremely well, but you may have secondary questions. As things got more expensive, when the rates doubled, the market doesn't just roll over and play dead. The market looks at it and says, rates doubled. We need more rent to cover these mortgages. So then you pass it to the consumer. You increase the rent, even at the Section 8 and affordable housing level. That's what you have to get through your head. Don't get it through your head that, oh, they're increasing rent on, the guy driving Uber, and he can only afford so much, so it's not going to happen. They're actually increasing the rent on the affordable housing market. How does it hit the affordable housing market? Now we're kind of getting in the weeds. But the reason it hits the affordable housing market is they have to be competitive. Only 30% of landlords accept Section 8. So if Section 8 doesn't pay enough for the landlords who do accept them to want to keep rocking with them, then they got to up their rents. They have to remain competitive within any marketplace. So as costs went up on investors, which is us, mortgage costs, it got passed on in the form of rents. So rental demand has not only increased because of supply shocks and slowdowns of affordable housing on the market, but prices have gone up. Rents have actually increased as well, which is pretty crazy. So you have this positive rental demand market. You have the affordable housing crisis is projected to double by 2030, according to the World Economic Forum. According to the World Economic Forum. And you guys can go Google it. A lot of people, sometimes people will argue with me about statistics. I'm like, go Google it. I'm telling you to do your own research. I'm pointing you in the direction. I'm leading you to the water. But these are some of the factors to look at. Short versus long term. This is mindset, and we'll get into mindset at the end like we always do. We're about 10 minutes in. Okay. I want to keep us at like 25 minutes. Short versus long term. You have to have the right mindset on your assets and what you're investing in. You don't want to get too short term especially even with the real estate market, because some of these things, trade wars, tariffs, some of these things are short-term problems. So you can't base your buying decision, should I buy now, based on something that's likely to be a short-term problem. Short-term meaning a year or two. You should be holding your rental properties for 15, 20 years. Only offload them. I mean, if they 3x in value and you can offload them and then reinvest in cheaper real estate and diversify, by all means. By all means. But have the right trajectory as a real estate investor. Some people come in and they're like, I gotta make money right. Like they think this is a freaking slot machine. It's all gotta work. I gotta make this money. I got 6 months. This is real estate. This ain't, you're not at the freaking casino. You're not at the casino. You're not gonna rock a, triple net lease a property and Airbnb it and pop it. Like, it's not that those things don't happen, but even those things can take a turn. This is a slow, steady, long-term approach to building consistent cash flow. That's what you want. You want to look back, put in a good 5 to 10 years. A lot of us sign up to put in 30, 40 years in the workforce, working, hustling, having a boss, dealing with the drama. A lot of us sign up for that. But then we get to real estate investing. Real estate's got to produce in 6 months. Well, your effing job didn't produce in 10 years. You still hate it. You're still not getting paid what you want. And you're showing up and putting in 80 to 90% of your energy, of your positive, productive output hours, whatever those are, into that job. Have the right perspective. Give yourself some grace. Why would you're willing to put in 40 years over here and you know where it leads to nothing. No pension, no consistent income, nothing for over 70% of Americans. Once again, are you at the casino? You think you're going to roll the dice on a 9 to 5 and you'll magically be a part of the 30%? Maybe you will. Maybe you probably won't, actually, I'll say. Statistically speaking, you won't. And then if you look at your demographic or socioeconomic status, that statistic increases because that's 70% on average. There's a lot of people pulling that average down. So have the right perspective. Give yourself some grace. Take the time to learn. I studied because I didn't have a mentor. I had mentors, but I didn't have somebody like me. There's a difference. I've been through the war recently. I'm still in the fight. So what I'm teaching you versus going to somebody who's like done it 20 years ago is different. The amount of knowledge. But I studied for 2 years. I still didn't know much. I knew less than 1% of what I know today, and I got started and started getting results. So anybody can do it if you give yourself grace and apply yourself. Guys, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, share the content with someone who you want to get value. If you're interested in our programs, once again, we have the real estate ride along tour. A lot of people have been reaching out. I think it's going to probably sell out in the next week. I'll say maybe 10 days. It'll be sold out, but you'll spend the day with me in Philly. Just DM me ride along or leave a comment that says ride along. If you're interested in our Boots on the Ground program, where we find, finance, rehab, tenant, and manage properties for you, we do all this stuff for you. And once again, I'll be showing you guys what that looks like on tomorrow night's training and Wednesday night's training. Just reach out on that. And then you can click the link in the description or DM me CashFlow on IG or click the link in bio on IG and tap into our 24/7 CashFlow community and just get super educated. You can basically take all of my real estate knowledge and have access to it. That's basically what it is. And it's $27 to join that, which still gets skeptics and tire kickers, which is fine. It's there to keep you out. Now let's get back into this. Buy versus wait. So here's some reasons why you should buy, and here's some reasons why you should wait. And you have to decide for yourself as a free thinker, what makes sense. Somebody said, can we speak about best area for tax deed sales and tax sale auctions? I'll speak on that after we wrap up. That's not a bad question. Let me see. Can you speak to the Boots on the Ground program, the buy flip strategy? Not sure if this is a viable strategy in today's market. I will answer that, and then we'll get into the buy versus wait. Let me bring that question up from McKinsey. Can you speak to the Boots on the Ground program, the buy flip strategy, not buy and hold? Not sure if this is a viable strategy in today's market. So I would say it depends on location. Whenever you're flipping, it's location, location, location. You want to be in the right market for sure. So there are I've never seen a market. Somebody said Jersey's here. Jersey's in the house. What up? My whole family's from South Jersey. I grew up in Philly. I was kind of raised in that Philly environment, but I actually was born in New Brunswick. Um, but is this a viable market? Depends on your location. Depends on your location. Are you in a flip market? Are you in a buy and hold market? Or are you in both? I've never seen a market that was neither a buy and hold nor a flip market. It's either one or the other. So I said Brooklyn in the house. Everybody's let me know. Arizona's in the house. Brooklyn's in the house. Philly's in the house. My Philly people, if you're from Philly, you have to tap into a ride along tour if you're serious about real estate. If you're not, don't. But if you're serious, it'll be the best experience of your life, realistically. It'll be a massive part of your journey and your trajectory. But if you are picking in the right neighborhoods and you're in a flip market would be go on Zillow, ask Zillow what are the top 10 real estate markets in America today? Top 10 cities, top 10 real estate markets. It'll tell you markets like Philly is one of them. It's going to name some markets. So if you're in a top 10 market, that's good. If you're in a sister city, I would say that's good as well, because people get priced out of the more expensive city. Now you get this property, you build it up nice like they would get in the more expensive city. And you have to get it in the right pocket of the city where you know it's also a top 10 pocket. So I would do that as well. I would go top 10 city, top 10 neighborhood in that city. Flip there. Flip there. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Flipping is a heavyweight bout. It's boxing. You could get hit with a shot, but your wins are going to bury your losses. And if you're putting all of that, you're kind of like it would be like going to the casino but becoming the casino to a degree. Real estate, you are taking on risk. There's a risk reward profile with any deal. But if you try to stack value on your side of the table, you can have a higher percentage chance of a win. Where you're like, I'm in the top 10 spot, I'm in the top 10 part of the city. People want to live here for this reason. I'm building like this. I'm chasing these comps. You start stacking value and then you will win more. So people are doing it. You can definitely do it. You can definitely catch W's. Um, I see the market pushing up. I see comps are increasing because of all the things we're talking about. So it's definitely something you can do, but you have to think along those lines to try to find the right location. Don't do it in the C class. Do it in the B or the outskirts or right on the fringe. There's going to be some obvious winners. Buy versus wait. So the reason you would wait is fear of a crash. I'm afraid the market's going to collapse. And there's a lot of fear mongering that out there about why the real estate market's going to crash. This is the worst thing we've seen since 2008. This is nonsense. Nonsense. You should see what these hedge funds are buying. I've just skipped to hedge funds. We've gone right past inflation. I'll come back to it. But you should see these hedge funds are out buying by the droves. And it's kind of a too big to fail. It's like, you know how they bailed the banks out with the too big to fail? Well, the hedge funds are buying so much of the real estate, but these same hedge funds, they actually will they'll buy other companies and sit on boards, and they control so much power and decision making in so many areas, in like almost all areas, that they're controlling the market. They can prop the market up. They have enough money to support the market. And it would have to be in their interest to collapse this market. What interest would they have? You have to let's put you in their shoes. You're sitting there with 20 billion, that might even be too small, $100 billion worth of real estate. Do you want the market to collapse? And you control a lot of the market, by the way, because you have so much money in so many stocks and companies, and you bought up 10% of the shares. So you become a controlling minority. This is how real it is. Like, you control big blue chip companies as a controlling minority. You have decision making power, and things that affect real estate derivatively, and quants to track that stuff. It's very smart mathematicians. The only incentive you would have is to collapse certain markets at certain times or add to the pain. If people are running out of Florida and you have a huge Florida portfolio, add to it. We're going to dump a shit ton of supply on the market, crash it further so we can buy it back cheaper. Maybe a flash crash, but not the whole damn market. And they own a lot more of the market than we realize. It's becoming a renter's nation. What we're doing in terms of building your education and putting you in a position at this particular point in time before these hedge funds buy all of it and you have no opportunity and your kids have no opportunity, and that's the end of it's the end of musical chairs, guys. Sorry, you ain't got a chair, and your kids ain't going to get a chair, and their kids ain't going to get a chair because the costs are going to go up. So it's also not about it's not about you. You have to keep that in mind. It's not all about you. It's about the next generation and building wealth for them. Some people have such a short-term wealth building mindset because it's about them. They're thinking about what they're going to do with the money. And it's like, that's not what it's about. It's about building legacy and passing down knowledge of how to manage assets. Inflation. I mean, if you believe in inflation, if you believe you've seen the cost of your groceries, I mean, I went to Whole Foods. I bought some fruit, a couple bags of chips, and some vitamins, and it was like $200. I was like, damn, inflation. The grapes were $20. Inflation. Who's making these grapes? What are they putting in these grapes that they're $20? If you believe in inflation, then you believe that housing prices are also going to go up because it's the cost of materials, goods, and services that inflate. And labor is a service. The materials that go into the house are a good, and they come from outside of the country, which is not too favorable right now, right? So that's kind of part of this. So housing prices will go up as the cost of materials and services goes up. That would mean you should buy now. If you believe we're in an inflationary environment, which we've seen, that prices are going to go higher from tariffs and trade wars and things like that, and that the delivery slowdowns are also going to exacerbate the affordable housing crisis, which is projected to double by 2030 in less than 5 years now. Less than 5 years now. Very soon. 5 years, guys. We're not talking a big window. So I would say there's more reason to buy now versus wait. And the fear of a crash, as you do more research on what these hedge funds are buying, they're buying up single family property. Like they're buying out all. They're coming for all of the chips. You're now in a real life game of Monopoly. You're in a real life game of Monopoly right now. Me and my buddies used to talk about it back in 2010, 2008, but not as many people were doing it. And the hedge funds weren't doing single family at all, or they were just getting into it. Many of them. They've accelerated. You're now in a real life game of Monopoly. If you sit on the sidelines, you're cooked. And don't say I didn't tell you. You'll never be able to say that. Guys, if you're getting value, like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment that says I subscribe. Share the content with someone who you want to get value. We're going to get into the mindset section, which also always goes off on fun tangents at times. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat section. Drop them in the comment section. Somebody said 5 years. That's soon. 5 years is soon. 5 years is very soon, guys. PA in the house. Pennsylvania's in the house. Everybody's dropping their locations. Where's new construction? I'll answer some of those questions later. All right, let's get into the mindset. And guys, if you want to tap into our 24/7 cash flow community, once again, if you're on the sideline, you just want the knowledge, you want to get my decades plus, 300 plus deals, 400 plus deals now, over a decade's worth of knowledge, mindset training, just tap in. It's $27. There's some stuff you can grab. or sit on the sidelines and miss it. But you will miss it because this train is coming, man. And I think it's picking up speed. I think these hedge funds are picking up speed. Let's get into the mindset. Click that link in the description note or link in bio. Timing the market versus buying right. Timing the market versus buying right is a mindset. They say don't wait to buy real estate, buy the real estate and wait. You're just focusing on buying a good asset that has a high rent associated with it and a good conservative monetization strategy that can survive a 15-year hold period. If you do that, so much of the mortgage will get paid down. Rents will inflate. You'll get good cash flow and equity growth. If interest rates are at a reasonable point, you're going to be able to pull out $50K a deal tax free just by surviving 15 years. And your cash flow is going to be crazy because a property will appreciate in rent from $500 a month to $800 a month, $900 a month because the rents keep rolling up over a 10-year period. Rents usually double. They say, I was reading something that said rents double every 10 years. I was like, damn, is that true? But I've seen it. I've also seen it. If I look back 10 years, I'm like, damn, those properties used to rent for $900. These properties are rent for $1,900 now, $1,750, $1,800. Same neighborhoods. So don't try to time the market. You got to be a whiz to time the market, and even the best people in the world can't time the market. In fact, the market's not worth timing because timing is too short-term focused. It doesn't matter. This is not a game of timing. This is a game of strategy. Strategy doesn't need timing. It just needs application during reasonable enough times. There's not a perfect market that you need to get into. Maybe somebody needed to hear that. There's not a perfect market you need to get into. You just need to get into the market with a reasonable strategy that has a relatively high success rate. And then you need to execute 5 to 10 times. That's enough to get out of the 9 to 5. Just executing 5 to 10 times. You don't have to be great at this. Imagine something you do at your job. Everybody has something that they do repetitively. Could be producing some type of report, delivering some type of service. Imagine if you just had to do that 5 to 10 times. And you would be like pretty much enough passive income to just not care anymore. Like a deep tissue massage, like a financial deep tissue massage. Like you just don't care anymore. It just took the edge off. It's like a financial beer. Just doing your job 5 to 10 times reasonable. Even if you mess up one time. Maybe you did that one out of 9, that didn't work. Still won't matter. Cash flow versus speculation. This is kind of on the flipping spectrum. To me, a flip is there to provide liquidity, or give me a shot at liquidity. Give me an ability to produce money that I can put into more cash flow. But the name of the game is cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. That's like the most important thing. If you just go for cash flow, you're going to guaranteed win. You're going to like guaranteed win long term. If you just keep acquiring properties that can cash flow. Speculation, market timing, you can run up a bag. And there is some a speculative aspect to cash flow investing that you have to get into in terms of being able to appraise properties and understand value. But you want to produce cash flow. You want to get paid over and over again for what you did, not for what you're doing. You want to get out of that trading time for money mentality because it's gonna burn you out. You're gonna run out of time. You're gonna run out of energy. Take your whatever your years are now, however old you are, you ain't gonna get no younger than this. This is the most energy you're gonna have, and you're gonna apply it to this, or you're gonna apply it to something else, and either or will lead you down the usual path, down the typical river flow of applying your energy there. If you apply your energy to buy and hold real estate, you can do very well, especially if you learn and kind of hone your strategy over the course of time. Just hone how you do things. I was cutting too much corners. Let me tighten there. Let me do a little bit of this here, and just keep pruning your portfolio. You can grow it over the course of time, and it doesn't have to be fast. If it's fast, God bless you, and God bless America. If it's not fast, it's still going to connect faster than you think. And that's the final wrinkle there. It's going to happen faster than you think anyway, because we all think linearly, and growth in real estate is exponential. You will learn how to do deals twice as fast, and you can do 4 times as many of them. That's exponential growth. Linear is I could do deals twice as fast in the future, but you don't realize not only can you do them twice as fast, you can do 10 times as many of them at the same time. That's like, whoa, I didn't factor that in. You can go very fast once you master your skill set, which is why knowledge is key. Even though today everyone thinks knowledge is a scam. Everyone thinks, oh, getting knowledge about how to invest, that's a scam. And it's like, no, knowledge is a damn key. You have to get educated. Everybody I talk to, I just talked to another guy today because I'm back on the podcast wheel again. I'm talking to a guy. He's doing a lot of deals. I'm going to be on his podcast next week. Doing a lot of deals, big multifamily, 100 unit, 500 unit. And he was talking, oh, yeah, I was in this program. I was in that program, and I was rocking with so and so. I'm like, yeah, I know them. Mm-hmm. And it elevated him. He talks about it like proudly, and he's getting in to serious, coaching programs and training. But he's like, he's making it happen. So the point is, if you want to make it happen, you have to educate. If you want to educate as cheaply as possible, tap into the 24/7 cash flow community, $27. Learn the game. That'll put you in a good position to at least get the ball rolling and learn how to invest without cash or credit and some of those strategies that we'll talk about on tomorrow night's training. So you guys can reach out about that. I don't always have the links for those. They're kind of running. You'll probably get hit with a video or something, and you can sign up, or you can shoot us a text or something. Superior strategy makes you rich. The last thing I'll leave you with on a mindset: superior strategy over all things. Like, you just need a good strategy. You need a good strategy if you want to win. Somebody could be working harder than you, doing and have a head start over you, years over you, and more cash than you, more capital. But if you have a better strategy than them in real estate, you will grow while they shrink. Literally, at those two rates, like, you will kind of grow in volume over the course of time because your strategy is better, more sustainable, can survive more storms. You're building a stronger foundation versus somebody who's even going faster. So you always want to focus on strategy. If you don't have a strategy, use the 24/7 cash flow method. Use our strategies. I don't have a strategy. I like to look at about 6 core strategies. So that's kind of a difference in my style. Is I have about 6 core strategies. I believe the more this is real estate is martial arts. And the more you have available to you, the more damage you can do in the game. Like, the more work you can put in, the more opportunities you'll see, the more access points you'll have. It's kind of taking your knowledge to the next level. In order to take it to the next level, you need to learn multiple strategies and then look at the market and be able to adjust your strategy to the market by tapping into multiple strategies. Because the market is always going to be moving. The market will never be the same. You never step into that same river twice. Not even day to day. If you get into the data, not even day by day. The rates are every day is a new river. So you need a bunch of strategies to navigate that. You don't just need a boat. You need some paddles. You need an oar. You need you might need some safety equipment. You need some things, some tools for the tool belt so that you can navigate. And if you want to learn more about our 24/7 cash flow method, I mean, you can join the community. You can always click the links in the description or bio and tap in. But you can join me live. Once again, I'm doing trainings tomorrow night at 7. That's live, but that's not going to be YouTube live and all of this. It's private, so you'd have to reach out to get a link. And and then Wednesday, where I'm going to show actual. And I haven't done this before. I haven't done this before, so this will be very interesting, I think, for people to see. But an actual deal in today's market, we're going to go through all the numbers. We're going to go through the full rehab process. We're going to go through the appraisal. we're going to go through the beginning. Here's what it was purchased for. Here's the full rehab. Here's the appraisal. Here's the, the rent metrics on the property. Here's the execution. And I think that'll be interesting for you guys to see. It's something that I never got to see. I never got to see it until I was doing it. And most people don't see it unless they're doing it. And it's not something that I'm going to do on a million deals. I think this deal is a great case study, but in general, I like keeping deals as private as possible. And, that's kind of how it is, especially for, the people I'm working with. Not that there's any issue with showing a deal, but, that's just kind of how we roll. When you're in, you're in. When you know, you know. Let's answer some questions. Hope all that helped, guys. Once again, if you got value, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment that says I subscribe, and share the content with someone who you want to get value. I'm going to answer a couple questions. Strategic advice for like selling a property that's been on the market for a couple of months. Being on the market for a couple of months is not necessarily problematic, depending on the market timing and kind of what's going on. I think right now the Trump tariffs have definitely jolted the market a bit. Rates are coming down though, and we're getting into peak season. April is always like a shakeout period, and then people start getting serious in May when they see like, oh shit, this is it. Like there's not really much more or better inventory coming. This is kind of what the market is. People will kind of come out. And I think rates are going to start pushing down further this year. This is the furthest I've seen them slide down, and they're becoming more resistant to the news. You'll see negative news come out. The rates won't move as much as they used to the news. So it's like, this is a fine market. I think you're going to see more buyers in May and June than you even saw in April because of the tariffs and all of that stuff. Like that does shock people, and people are watching the news, man. The average buyer, they're a mom and pop buyer. Most people only buy or sell one, maybe two houses per year. I mean, within a lifetime. Most people only buy or sell one or two houses in their lifetime. So they'll watch the news. They're not studying this stuff. They're not on this live. They don't know. And they are responsive, just like some tenants may be responsive to other stimulus. But it could be pricing, it could be virtual staging, it could be refreshing. There are a lot of different angles, because you have to, if you're not selling fast, it could also be a byproduct of not enough eyeballs. So then you might want to refresh your look. Let's go with more virtual staging. Let's get the 3D walkthrough. And something that brings out more people, because it's a volume game. It's also a volume game. But I will say, I've seen houses that have even taken 3 or 4 months still sell at very strong pricing. So it was really finding the right buyer. So there's different things, but all of those things, I would start with least invasive, which would be minor price refresh, maybe even like $1,000, just a refresh in the algorithm, accompanied by 3D walkthrough and virtual staging, which is very minimal in cost, maybe $300, and give it a makeover and try to get more volume out. So I would constantly be jolting the market. Really, every 10 days, I would be refreshing that algorithm. because I'm obsessive compulsive. If I don't make a 10-day rule, I'll do it every day. How are you able to appraise your land? I mean, you would just hire an appraiser. I would just do, I mean, for me, I would just look at comps and what land's selling for, both at the auction and on the MLS. And then I would just kind of make an assessment there or get like an average square foot value of the land. You can also see what the tax assessor is assessing the land at. That can be a reasonable indicator in some markets. So there's a bunch of ways, or you could hire a appraiser, and they would probably not even come out to the property. They would just pull the data, which is why it's easy to just learn how to do it. Um, how to handle probate without a lawyer? That's a loaded question, and that depends on where you're at. If how to handle a probate situation without an attorney, it depends on where you're at, if you can even do it, and then what the individual laws are to do it yourself. So that depends. Let me see. We have some questions on YouTube. I'm in California and I'm interested in the Boots on the Ground program. Is it possible to have the program find deals in the local Philly? Yeah, we can find you deals in Philly to buy and flip, buy and hold. Um, we have a lot of people tapped in from California because of the market being expensive. Yeah, 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 Rosalind. I would. That's what I would do. Like, just keep your mindset on seek and destroy mode. Like, I don't I try not to get negative on the real estate. I just try to always stay in the problem solving, seeking how can I adjust, how can I tweak, because there are many solutions available. I used to not think this way, but I started solving problems and surviving certain situations that I thought were like it was kind of like being like Red Fox. Like, this is the big one. It's like you think when you're just getting started that everything is the big one. Like, I'm having a heart attack. I'm out of here. I'm coming home. Like Elizabeth, I'm coming home. And it's not. When you survive many of them, then you start learning. Maybe I'm doubting my ability to problem solve. Maybe I'm a little bit more capable than I anticipated. And then when you get in that mindset, you start seeking more solutions and tweaking and understanding when they say like you create your reality. There's not, in a non-hokey way, there you can create different realities because you can succumb to a problem that you think is too big and not take any action in paralysis of the problem, or you can stand up and say, how can we make this look better to get more people out? How can we move this situation around? What action can I take to physically change and rearrange this? And that will create two different realities and two different outcomes. So I try to stay in that secondary mindset. But I've been trained into it because I've doubted my ability to do it, and then I've seen myself solve it back against the wall. And it's like, okay, maybe there's some capability here that we need to hone in on. Kwame, there investment real estate agents in the 24/7 group that understand what investors are looking for in certain Northeast markets? Yes, there are. Yeah, there are. So there definitely are. I would just drop a post. I would just drop a post. He said, "I'm telling my age with the Red Fox comment." Yeah, I'm coming home, Elizabeth. I used to watch all the oldies. Um, I used to watch MASH. I used to watch a lot of old stuff. I used to watch a lot of oldies. Like, I used to wake up early. I used to get up at 6 o'clock and just or 5:30. I was always early riser and just watch oldies on channel 48 with a paper clip in the TV. Um, what are investors looking for in certain Northeast? Yeah, I mean, you can find deals. The Northeast is loaded with deals. The Northeast is loaded with deals. It's loaded with deals. It's the Rust Belt. Look it up. It's the Rust Belt. It's got a lot of cash flow. I was talking to somebody last week they had roots in Pittsburgh. I was like, damn, Pittsburgh's it's got some action as well. It's got some action as well. Just drop a comment on the video if you want a link to the live training. Just drop a live training comment, and I'll shoot you a link to the live training. I'll probably put it in the 20. I'll put a link in the cash flow community as well. I'm gonna put a link in the cash flow community because a lot of people ask me for it. I'll put a link on the calendar in the 24/7 cash flow community. I think the Wednesday training, I might do some stuff tomorrow night, but the Wednesday is gonna be the big one. The Wednesday is gonna be the big one as well. Um, what else we have? Brian, if you were just starting out in today's real estate market, what strategies would you implement as of today? Still the burst strategy. The burst strategy is the beast. I would implement the burst strategy. I would I would always be doing some type of marketing for motivated sellers. I would become obsessed with creative financing opportunities as a way to grow and scale. I would be into that. I would be talking to wholesalers about deals that they're having trouble selling. I would be talking to commercial brokers about deals that they're having trouble selling and negotiating. Tough sellers. Tough sellers born every day. And I'll be coming up with creative financing strategies to solve problems. That's what I would be doing. So I'd be doing that and the burst strategy. I would definitely flip a deal or two or unlock a deal or two. Fast flip or slow flip. I'd be doing a lot of those different strategies, lease purchase options, like all of that stuff, controlling properties. I'd be thinking about build to rent. These are all things I do. I'd be thinking build to rent as well. Some ground up type of activity, but I would be more concerned about market timing there because of the just the sensitivity to the costs right now in the supply chains. It's just a riskier time to be doing it. It's easier to be doing burst strategy on existing structures right now. So with the current market, I'm doing burst strategy, full gut renovation to heavy cosmetic renovation, ripping down, to the drywall, rewire, replumb, put in new heating or baseboard heating or HVAC or mini split system, zip up walls, paint flooring, trim doors, windows, refresh the roof, um, refresh some of the drain lines, gutter work, masonry, cabinets, tile work, recessed lighting on the first floor, TLC the basement, make it watertight. I'm doing that. And then refinancing out. I think that's the safest play right now in general because prices are likely going up. There's a lot of comps being created because the market's hot, man. And the prices you're seeing in this market is like, damn, these properties, I'm seeing properties that used to sell for 220 selling for 280. So you're like, damn. And you can refinance out. In the deal we're going to show you, it's like that's it's part of what happened. We went in with a lower comp, like a 240 comp, and it comped at 272. And that's 32K to the upside. It's like, damn. And when you can grab 75% of that or 80% of that 32,000, 80% of 32,000 is $24,000 to the upside. That's a hell of a Christmas gift. Tax free. So that strategy, I think it puts you in a position to win. Can more with more consistency. But even if you tank a couple deals, you lock up some capital, you have properties that are going to appreciate and unlock, and you have cash flow. You're going to be in a good position. Even coming out with a couple, two, three houses that will grow in equity. You can't see it yet, but they're all going to appreciate 50 to 100K. Boom, 300K liquidity. You can grab 70% of that in a refi. You can grab 200,000, 180,000 tax free, and then go and reinvest that into more buy and hold. So just by the nature of picking up a strong buy and hold strategy, the money, you don't understand the different avenues from which capital can come in from to accelerate anyway. So some of us are worried about, well, from what I can see and with what money I have right now, what strategy should I do? And it's like, you need to learn a powerful strategy. You're worried about how soon you'll run out of money with this, or um, sustainability based upon what you can see today. What you have to realize is once you pick up that skill and you understand that you can do this, there are always going to be deals to find. There are always going to be markets. There are always going to be contractors. There's always going to be opportunities to some degree for the sophisticated of us. And you'll be able to go out. The money can come from many ways. It can come from appreciation, tax refunds, cash flow, larger appraisals than anticipated, couple of flip deals, syndicating, raising funds. It can come from all these different ways, but you need the skill set first. Money without the skill set to support it doesn't matter. Sorry, don't matter. So that's kind of part of it. But that strategy, just doing that burst strategy, and then complementing it with creative financing. There are a lot of people. The problem with real estate coaching is that in order to market it mass for the people who want to like get out into that mass marketing, you have to come out and say this is the best strategy. This beats all other strategies because it's easy to market. It's more direct. But the truth of the matter is you need many strategies, and you need to complement and layer strategies. There might be a market where prices start going up so fast from something unforeseen now, because we're here. When we get to this level and some market condition happens and prices are going up 100K in a year, that might be a good market to flip in. And there might be a season of it, but you still need to have knowledge and scale appropriately and take that money and not keep putting it all on black, but then put it into the buy and hold. The buy and hold is the natural um, strategy you need to learn to accelerate, to scale. You need that base, and then you need to complement it. Then you need to complement it. So it's a layer of strategies. It's right location. It's all things at once. Location, 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 superior strategy, integrity of strategy, like to build quality, like to build durable, like to build um with you know competency, and with a plan in mind, and with long-term utilization in mind. Hey, I'd like to build the house all electric. Brian, why do you put in baseboard heaters? Because you can put electric panels on your house. Because you can put electric panels on your house, and you could sell energy back to the damn grid on enough rental properties. Because you can cut that bill. You might be smart going all electric, you know? So you have to think about some of those things in your strategy as well. But so it's all things at once being honed in, but it's not necessarily dependent on market timing, in my opinion. It's just dependent on superior strategy, and then the complementary aspects of it will be superior strategy mixed with whatever's quality for the market. Creative financing is very high quality right now because rates are higher than they have been in the last 10 years. Rates are higher and prices are going up. Foreclosures are happening. Properties are moving. It's a good time to be in creative financing and just talking to people, getting a couple deals. You don't need to get 10 million deals. You can get 2 creative financing deals a year and be highly profitable. There are people making 50K right now, working every damn day, that could learn a strategy, do 1 or 2 deals, creative financing deals a year, and make 100K. Seriously. It doesn't take that many deals to make more money than you're making at the 9 to 5. The scary part for a lot of you is you won't be able to go back. You won't be allowed to go back. Somebody will look at you and say, no, you're more profitable out here. You're not allowed to go back. Now you have to make it happen. And you can spend time with your family out here. So there is more value being provided in that sense. Not that working a 9 to 5 and putting food on the table is not providing value. It's providing extreme value. Unfortunately, I've just seen the people who work the hardest get paid the least. It's set up in that type of system. So you want to get put in a position where you're working smarter, not harder. People who work smarter, you can really dominate right now. So you can build yourself out very quickly with that layering. Land is cool, but new construction is a whole nother animal. It is. It is. Mackenzie said, we'll book a call to revisit the Boots on the Ground program. Thanks so much. Yeah. Just book a call and tap in. But we just don't have a million spots available for Boots on the Ground. Only a couple spots. So it's for the when you're serious. Reach out when you're serious, tap in. And definitely, anybody who's interested in that ride along Saturday, May 31st, you get your 24/7 cash flow hoodie, your gear, you get laced up. We're going to see 15, 20 properties being built in different stages. We're going to see some flips. We're going to see some big flips that are right at the finish line. So it's a very interesting time right now. This is going to be a very unique ride along. I've been warning people, but inevitably people will miss it. Some people that shouldn't miss it. But it's going to be a unique set of assets and flip deals and things that we're working on that I can't control the timing at that level. I'm not a magician. The deal, we're just working on the deals we're working on at the time. So you see different seasonal strategies at times because the market's adjusting and my deal analysts are adjusting and we're recalibrating and calculating, factoring in new costs and new comps. And, so you might see more deals in West Philly this year or this ride along, then you start seeing deals over here because the market's flowing. The bank just dropped 30 properties and they hit these zip codes and they're high profit and we're grabbing them. So you start seeing unique assets. What is zip up a wall and TLC the basement? Zip up a wall is just, drywall, sand spackle, sand tape spackle, sand, paint. So getting the walls zipped up because it's like you're gonna wire them, plumb them, HVAC them right through the framing. The house is gonna be opened up. Then you're gonna fire seal and insulate, and then you're gonna zip up the walls, hang the drywall. Now it looks like a house. Flooring, trim, doors. When you start finishing, Yeah, if you want to learn how to build houses, also tap into the training because that's what we talk about: the process of building a house, what the flow is, how long it takes. We're going to cover that on tomorrow night's live training, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll drop a link as a comment to the video. Or you can shoot me a text or reach out, shoot us an email, tap in, join the 24/7 Cashflow community, click the link in the description, $27. But I'll be putting a link in the calendar section of our community group so you can go in and tap in there. That'll be an easy way. And then I don't have to send it out a million places. And all of the burr you can get a whole done. I'm not sure what that question was. Would someone need money to renovate? Not necessarily because there are lenders who will give you the money to renovate. Ice Thompson said, can you join Boots on the Ground with 30K? You need, I would say, and this is my advice, like how much money you need to invest in real estate depends on strategy. When I did my first deal, I only put out $9,000, but I got a $4,000 seller's assist. So ended up being like 5K. But that was a house hack. I was putting down 3.5% and getting a seller's assist. So that was a little different. If you're doing the burr strategy, I like to have about $35,000 of liquidity for a single family burr strategy deal where I can get a lender to give me the lion's share of the capital for the rehab. They'll probably give me 100% of the money to buy, and then 90 to 100%. I mean, 90 to 100% of the money to buy, and then 100% of the rehab money. So there are lenders who will give you the capital. I would want to have about 35,000 liquid for a deal, and then I would want, if I was doing multifamily, maybe like 50 to be like maybe more conservative. Not that I would anticipate using all of it on a deal, but I want to have, maybe I use half of it and then I have cash reserves. I want to have some type of position. And then I'll probably still, for me, I'll probably still even have more cash reserves behind that for another sector of my portfolio. So I'll still have some other liquidity, but that's kind of how I would apply it. Now, if you're running around with business credit, I know some people, there are these programs out there. I don't even know how these things work, but you can raise a lot of business credit fast from what I'm seeing. There are some people who are really dialed into it, and I'm not a huge like business credit person. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I understand how it works. I researched it, but it's not something that I needed to scale, nor was it as talked about when I was scaling initially. So it's not something I've gotten into. But if you can get 100K of business credit, damn. I mean, you can run that play, and that can cover a lot of stuff and just get you through a bunch of deals and get you to scale, where you can quickly try to accelerate that up into, let's say you had like 30, 40K and then 100K of business credit. You might be able to rock that into like 5 deals or like 10 deals, depending on what kind of groove you hit. So it can be very powerful. And I say there's nothing wrong with it. But that's how much money I would say you want to have for boots on the ground or just for burst strategy investing in general with this type of strategy. You just want to have enough liquidity where you're comfortable. For me, it's about comfort. It's not about speed. Speed will come in the future. First you got to get comfortable, then you can accelerate. Let's see if we have any other questions. Do you see the real estate agent commissions affecting ROIs? Has it settled to be 2 to 4%? From the most part, I mean, it's local, so how it has impacted things has been on a local level. What I've seen in Philly is it's kind of been more or less the same. They're just negotiating with each other directly, but it's been the same. Most sellers are covering it. It's been fine. It's been like fake news, in my opinion. Fake news. I'm gonna give that a fake news because I just didn't see a big impact. Now, in another market, there might be a huge impact, but I thought, well, I know that there are different ways. Like if you buy a house in New York, you need an attorney. You buy a house in Pennsylvania, it's boilerplate. You don't need an attorney. You buy a house in Delaware, you need an attorney. Like you buy a house in Baltimore, you don't need an attorney. You just get a closing company. It depends on where you're at. Everything is local. And even how the agents will interact with each other is local in terms of customary things, um, inspection periods, different clauses. Sellers assists aren't common in certain areas of the country and are more common in others. A lot of that stuff is direct negotiation. So where we're flowing with the boots on the ground is pretty consistent. It's been pretty consistent. I haven't seen much of a change. The realtors are happy on both sides, and the buyers and sellers realtors do different things and serve different purposes. They like working with each other, from what I've seen. But the realtors who work with us are doing, I mean, they're doing very, very well because, um, we're doing a good amount of volume, through them. So that is that. So guys, it looks like we're tapped out on questions, which is good. If you want to rock with me tomorrow night. We're going to go into some more in-depth trainings. And then we have Wednesday is going to be more of that boots on the ground vibe where we're going to walk through the deal. I'm going to save that for Wednesday, where we're going to walk directly through a deal and show you guys the actual numbers so you can see what deals look like today. Because a lot of people just, I guess there's that fear, doubt, Can this really work? Is this really working? Maybe you just need to see what a deal looks like and the different timelines and different things that happened. And I think that'll help you to kind of level set yourself and say, well, I could live with that. I could live with that result. That actually doesn't look too bad. And some of you will say, I like that. Give me 10 of those. I like that house. Give me 10 of those. And I think that's the right mindset to have in 2025 in general as a real estate investor. That's how I feel about 2025. I like the market. Give me 10 of those. Give me 10 of those 2025 markets. I'll take it because it's relatively predictable and it looks fruitful with the right strategy. Predictable is good for a real estate investor. Everybody wants the links. I'm going to post the links because I can't chase everybody down. I will tell my assistant to kind of reach out to as many of you as possible. But click the links in the description to tap into the 24/7 cash flow community, and I will be posting the links in the community group. So you can tap in there. I can guarantee that because that's going to be easy for me to do. I have a lot on my plate right now. That'll be easy for me to get to and not push down in terms of priority. But we will try to get out as many links as possible, but definitely tap in because that's a unique opportunity to see a deal, something that no one ever did for me. And I'm doing it for you guys for free. All you have to do is tap in. That deserves a God bless America. So I'll see you guys on the next training. If you guys need me, you know how to reach me. Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor. See you guys on the next one.